Hello, and welcome to Psychology Demystified. Today's video is going to be about demystifying introverts. Now hold on, I know some of you are thinking, what about me who's not an introvert? I'll get to you at some point. I have to do one group at a time. So today, it's Introvert Day. Now the reason why I chose to start on introverts is because usually a lot of people cover extroverts, because extroverts are the people who are usually stereotypically believed to be the more psychologically healthy ones, and then introverts are the ones who don't want to make friends and like to keep to themselves. But being one or another doesn't make you better. And the reason why I've chosen to focus on introverts is because sometimes they are the most misunderstood. Introverts over the years have gotten a reputation as being, or a stereotype as being, the person who doesn't want to hang out, doesn't want to talk, and who's anxious about going into social situations. However, I'm going to start off by saying that is not an introvert. That is someone who's suffering from social anxiety. There's a huge difference between introverts and people who are socially anxious. So I just wanted to put that out there so that you can get that stereotype out of the way. Introverts are not people who necessarily do not like to socialize or who feel a certain sense of immense anxiety when they want to go out. That is not it. That is a stereotype. That is a misconception. So I'm going to continue by demystifying introverts. Now, who exactly is an introvert? So today I'm going to be talking about 5 different types of introverts. 5. Who knew there were 5 different types of introverts? A lot of you assumed that there was one type and they all fell into the same category and behaved the same way. Now, I'm not saying that if someone falls in one category, they can't fall in another. Because remember, we are human and we can weave in and out of different categories. However, what happens is that some people tend to fall more in one area than another and then maybe pick some of the others. So there are 5 different types of introverts. Now, you only knew one probably. And maybe you only knew about the stereotypical one. So, mind blown. There are 5. Who knew? Social introverts like to structure their day so that they always make sure that they have time for themselves. This is necessary for them to function. People who are social introverts can enjoy themselves thoroughly in social situations. Now, when a social introvert is trying to socialize, they will choose one of 2 things. They will either choose to socialize with a small group of friends, or sometimes a preference for no group at all, and that's complete solitude, and that's just how they function. When given a choice, an introvert is someone who chooses to spend their social time with a small group of individuals who they're comfortable with, and that means that this is a group of individuals who they'll get together with and maybe have a glass of wine or a get together that just involves games, but it's usually a chosen small group. And sometimes they don't have all the friends around them at the same time. They will have different relationships with different friends, but that is by choice. Having a group of friends or going on a group holiday is not a source of joy for an introvert. So please keep that in mind as you plan around your friends and try to think of something. Introverts are usually very, very, very good at staying home. So forced social isolation, like right now, for an introvert, is heaven, absolute bliss. And the reason why this forced solitude is absolute bliss is not because they're antisocial. And that's another misconception and a stereotype. They're not antisocial. They just need this solitude and silence to rest. Because a lot of stimulation and a lot of noise and a lot of action that other groups thrive on sucks the energy out of an introvert in an immense manner. So being able to stay home, regroup, reorganize is just a godsend. Another reason why this forced solitude is really great for an introvert is because he or she doesn't then have to think about which invitation to accept and which one to refuse. And they also don't have to think about what reason to give when people who are from other groups that are not the introvert group start to ask them questions about why aren't you coming to my party? They just can't tell you, I don't want to. I just want to sit on my couch. That's it. That's it. Another type of introvert is the thinking introvert. That's not to say that the first group, the social introverts, are not thinking, but these ones are called thinking or introspective introverts. These kinds of introverts are imaginative and creative in unbelievable ways because they are able to transport themselves into imaginative worlds that are filled with internal fancy, but not in a neurotic kind of way, but in a creative, amazing space kind of way. And a lot of producers and directors of movies are these kinds of introverts. Another type of introvert is a restrained kind of introvert. These are introverts who take things at a much slower pace. These kind of introverts are the ones who you may have noticed as people who are slower to warm up. Not antisocial, just slower to warm up to you. It's also important to know that this kind of introvert is also the type who will not jump at a decision, and they might take time to get things going. So this is not the introvert that you seek out when you want a snap decision. Nope, this introvert will shut down and shut you out. An introvert is often someone who thinks long and hard before he or she speaks. That person that you see in the team meetings who doesn't jump in and start talking, who takes some time before they answer, who likes to observe people before they speak, that is possibly an introvert. They marinate on what they want to say before they say it. Then there are introverts who like to think things through. I want to see the results of things before I jump into it. And that's as simple as that. For them, evidence is key. This kind of introvert will research everything you give them and check the risks and check the pros and the cons of every situation before they jump in and join you. An introvert is someone who usually has a very deliberate approach to taking risks of any sort. And a risk could be as simple as speaking up in a group that they don't know. A risk could be as simple as investing in something. They're not the ones who are swayed by the situation and go all in. They take their time, they marinate on it, and then if they think that it's going to work for them, then they're all in. But before that, not happening. They're the ones who sit back and watch the situation unfold before they take the risk. And I'm not saying that introverts don't do fun stuff like, bungee jumping and all of that. But before they've done it, they've taken a deliberate measure of time to think about what they're going to do. So they're deliberate about their risk taking. Then there are also introverts who just don't like too much stimulation, too much light, too much noise, too much partying, just leave them drained and spacey. This introvert does not want to work in a noisy environment. So a lot of times these introverts choose jobs where the environment is quiet and solitary and in a cubicle. Given a choice, they would be in heaven if they didn't have to talk to any of their colleagues during the day, unless they choose which ones. Introverts tend to get overwhelmed by very crowded situations, and they feel like they're overstimulated and they just want to get out. And overstimulation for them kind of sucks their joy. If it's too loud or too crowded, then it's an issue. Whereas for different groups, when it's too loud or too crowded, that's a party. For an introvert, that is not a party. An introvert gets their energy from conversations and subjects and situations that they're truly interested in. But when they're in situations and environments and discussions that they're not truly keen on, then they feel like their energy is being drained. And this usually happens when someone has to engage in small talk. Introverts do not do small talk. Yes, they may manage because it is socially accepted and expected that they do. However, they suffer immensely. This is a great time to talk about who you are and what you like to do. Not for introverts. No. Introverts intentionally seek out environments where it is peaceful and quiet, where they can seek sanctuary, where they have beautiful things around them. So they love art. They love art alone, not as a group. If they want to go to an art show, they want to go alone or with a very, very close friend. Not a group, never a group. As you go about your day and as you plan your next form of communication with your introverted friends, please keep the following in mind. Your introverted friend is not going to automatically and easily pick up if you FaceTime them. They're not ready. They need some time to get ready for that call. Your introverted friend is not going to be the one to just call you to have a long, lengthy, animated conversation. Not your introverted friend. Your introverted friend kind of needs a heads up, which means that for your introverted friend, let your introverted friend know that you are going to call them at 5:30 so that they have the day to de-stress and to think about how the conversation's going to go. And for those who plan, let them plan so that by the time 5:30 hits, you get them in their full mode, fully animated. If you randomly call them, you won't get the fully animated because they're not mentally, physically, socially ready for you. So just keep that in mind. Your introverted friend right now hates video conferencing, cannot stand Zoom calls. Extroverts might be loving it right now. Introverts, not so much. Because their space of solitude, this little haven that they've created for themselves, their sanctuary, is now being invaded by many faces wanting to talk about work. So it's just not working. And they cannot wait to get off that call. They are so done. So please don't suggest a video conference, FaceTime, all of that with your introverted friend on the fly. It's not going to be something that they're excited about. And sometimes those of you who are very good at observing cues will notice from their face that somehow they fall off the call. So just start watching your friends. You know which ones they are. Please give them a chance to get off that call, because it's like being on a roller coaster and you just want to get off and everyone else is like, woo, and you're done. That's how introverts are. They're done. They're done with the video conferencing, especially those ones that are not planned. And even sometimes when they are planned, if there are too many, you are draining the life out of them. So that was fun, actually, covering the 5 different types of introverts. Next week, I will be covering extroverts. And then the week after that, I'll be covering ambiverts. Yeah, all of those exist. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with a link for a study where you can actually take a quick quiz that can help you determine which one of the 3 you might be. Now, who knows? You might be a mixture of 3. I don't know. You might be my new case study. I don't know. But this test usually helps you figure out whether you're an introvert, like the group I mentioned today, an ambivert, you'll figure out what that is, or an extrovert. I will be covering extroverts next week and then ambiverts the week after that. So please keep watching so that you can figure out which one you are and also how to deal with your friends who fall in one of those categories. Because at the end of the day, a lot of us try and find information about ourselves, but we have friends that we misunderstand because they're not the same as we are. So hopefully these 3 different videos will help you figure out which one of my friends falls in which category and how do I deal with them differently. What I also hope about this is that you get to realize that that friend who likes to spend time at home, there's nothing wrong with them, and it's good that you remember that they still want you to invite them to places, but they at least want you to let them have the choice to see whether they come or not. And if they refuse to come, don't take it personally. It's just who they are. They just need that time to recharge. And I think the more we get to understand each other's personalities and what categories we fall in and how we recharge and how we like to de-stress, the less misunderstandings we'll have amongst ourselves as families and as friends. So please be kind to the introvert. Please invite them to places. Let them be the ones to decide whether they're coming or not. And when you see that they need time by themselves, even during your amazing party, give them that time. Don't pressure them into coming to join you. Let them be for a bit. They are recharging. They will come back and be a socially introverted buddy with you. Give them their time. Give them their space. Respect who they are and understand who they are. And introverts, I'm speaking to you. Be kind to your extroverted friends. Keep in mind that as much as you're enjoying being indoors, as much as you're enjoying your home and everything about it, you have some extroverted friends out there and ambiverted friends who are really struggling with this situation. So in your introverted way, please reach out and check on them. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to stay safe. If you're going out, wear a mask. Please remember to look out for each other. And please remember to be kind to people because you don't know what they're going through. Hugs and kindness, always.